Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's Smart Company webinar, 10 Ways IT Can Help Grow Your Business. My name's James Thompson. I'm the editor of smartcompany.com.au. Very excited today to have David Marcus, the head of Combo, an IT services firm for SMEs, and also a long-time Smart Company blogger. Hi, David. How are you?
Good, James. Hi.
Great to have you on board. We'll come to David in a second. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Best way to listen today is via your computer. Audio will be automatically streamed through your computer speakers, so leave those open for the duration. I'd love to get as many questions as you've got for us. Jump in the question pane, type in your questions and click send, and we'll do our best to get to as many of those, both where they're relevant and at the end of today's presentation. Also, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Small Business September 2011. A couple of days left of the festival, so go and check the events out that still remain. smallbusinessmonth.newsouthwales.gov.au. It's been a terrific event this year, and plenty of great events throughout the period. We've had 5 webinars. This was our 6th on Smart Company as part of this festival. We've had a terrific response. So, as I say, a couple of days left, so check out Ken. Okay, so without any further ado, I'll come formally to David now. David's the founder and managing director of Combo. David, can you tell us a little bit to start with about what it is Combo focuses on?
Yeah, James, our focus is on becoming the help desk for businesses too small to have their own. And I define that as businesses with 15 through to 150 staff. We've been in operation for almost 10 years now, providing a wide range of services to those businesses, largely focused around the Microsoft platforms because they're the ones that work best for that scale of business, but now with a very strong focus on cloud technologies and the technologies of the future that we see fitting those small to medium businesses and giving them the best potential for growth.
Great. And I know David's got a lot of insight into, I guess, pain points is the right way to describe it. Those things that SMEs find difficult with IT, and that's really going to inform today's presentation, I think, David. So I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, James. We actually don't like to talk about pain because small business is painful in itself. We like to talk about impediments to growth, and the focus of Combo is removing the impediments to growth caused by IT, and that leads nicely into my first slide for today. As an SME business, we seek growth as a way of ensuring we continue to succeed. There are plenty of businesses that find a niche and exploit it, and so clearly there are sectors that will struggle, especially in these challenging times, and eventually fail. But there have always been industries that have ceased to exist. For example, there are no longer door-to-door salespeople selling encyclopedia sets because we all use search engines online. There are equally new technologies creating new jobs and new business opportunities for growth. For the companies that innovate and find a niche, there are still plenty of growth opportunities in a flat, competitive or seemingly saturated marketplace. So the way we see it is, unless your innovation is in IT, IT will not cause your growth, but we've identified 4 things that can get in the way of growth. These are an unclear strategic plan. It pays to have an IT plan that is aligned to your business plan. Wrong resources, not having the right people when you need them, leads to staff. Creaking infrastructure. Through lack of planning for the growth, infrastructure can become a huge expenditure, which in itself becomes an impediment. Lack of accountability is the 4th one we see. With the first 3 pillars out of alignment, it's hard to have a support team be accountable for ongoing strategic direction or for solving even the smallest of problems in a timely manner. So we're often revving the engine with the handbrake on. Let me expand on these points for you. We know that it's important to have a business plan, right? I'm sure the proactive business owners listening today have a business plan and review it regularly. Yet most of us do very little planning for IT. It may appear as a budget line in the business plan, typically 10% less than last year for lack of a better idea. We know that your growing business needs a costed IT strategy to develop the right plan, and this involves careful assessment of the technology in place and a design of the systems required to drive productivity. IT is a productivity tool. If you can implement systems that let you manage and measure your productivity, chances are that you can fund the systems and see an improvement to the top line growth through better sales and marketing and bottom line improvements through better productivity and delivery. Whether you deliver widgets or a service, or you sell something, or you drive a sales team or a marketing service, better productivity can be found through technology. We can plan our environment, or we can let it fall together. The results are not as graphic as the comparison made here in the pictures, but the results are very similar. Both environments create a place to live, but one is neatly structured, robust, elegant. The other suffers from poor infrastructure that impedes further development, where communication is hampered and productivity decreases. Once you have a plan in place with a budget, you can set about getting the right resources. With the required breadth and depth to their knowledge and experience, it makes a difference. Seeking the right team to have people happy to perform the task that is put to them is the key. You'll need a little time from a high-level strategic thinker, a reasonable amount of time from some project management and project resources, and regular input from a technical response team to solve the problems that arrive on a regular basis with our complex communication systems. With today's complex array of technologies accessible by the smallest of companies, there is no one person who can perform well across each of these levels with a range of technologies. It's important to find a team of people to offer this support, and this is why I argue that a business with less than 200 staff should outsource their IT support to. Larger firms may look to a balance between in-house support and outsourced strategy and development. The case differs from business to business and industry to industry.
David, can I jump in there with a question?
Yeah, sure, James.
Just on the outsourcing versus insourcing, I guess, or in-housing. What's the best way to, if you go down that outsourcing path, which I know is your strength, to ensure that the planning that happens within the company doesn't fall by the wayside? You know, do you still need sort of somebody in charge of IT in-house to make sure that those plans kept getting built and IT stays on the agenda?
Yes, James, you always need somebody in the business keeping score and holding the delivery team accountable. We find that that's best done by a CFO or an operations manager in a smaller business, possibly the CEO. But that person doesn't need to be educated in IT. They just need to know the objectives that have been set and the plans of the business, and have a strong enough relationship with the IT advisors to know that they're getting good advice. Once you trust the advice you're getting and have someone that checks that the delivery is happening, the problems go away without spending a lot of money on a high-level strategic manager or spending a lot of money on a low-level tactical person that carries it through.
Mm. And when you are doing, setting up a strategic IT plan, would you be recommending bringing people in to help with that, who do have technical expertise?
Yes, absolutely. The people that are inside your business, focused on delivering day to day, know about the needs of your business. But unless you run an IT business, there's just no way that those people inside your business have a grasp of the technology that is available today and how to apply it to the business that you've got. And so you need to be looking outside your business to talented advisors who spend time looking at the marketplace and working with other businesses to get the benefit. I personally go into 5 businesses a week and look at their issues, and so people like me have a good idea about the range of problems, and so keep finding new solutions and bringing those in and applying them to businesses.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess getting back to your present, really find is this issue of creaking infrastructure.
Yes, thank you. And once you have the right team on board, you can develop the best solution for your infrastructure and then have it set up and managed to ensure stable and scalable systems. Creaking infrastructure has a direct impact on productivity, both directly through slow performance, but also through increasing the risk of downtime. And downtime's an area that small businesses just don't plan enough for, and so it surprises them every time it happens and costs blow out. The infrastructure pictured here paints a clear picture of a controlled environment versus an uncontrolled environment. Clearly, troubleshooting the system on the right is going to take some time to track down the simplest of faults. With a hosted solution, as the one on the left, the point is you get a little bit of a lot rather than a lot of a little. Having the right solution well managed leads to accountability, or better accountability. And by this I mean that when a solution is required, you have people offer assistance, whether it's implementing new software for core business systems required as you grow, or a quick fix on a technical fault. With the right team on board, there's always someone to take the task and run with it, rather than dumping them all in too hard basket or playing the blame game. No budget, we don't know how, stuff's just too old to fix. So how do we start to move forwards towards a better future? To me, it's quite clear that today the answer is in cloud technologies. To put cloud technologies into perspective, I'm calling on an analogy. When electricity was first put to use to replace belt-driven systems run by steam engines, local generators were used. This was inefficient as it required fuel to be transported and stored, and distributed generators required maintenance, and it was difficult to manage as mechanics were at least as scarce then as good IT people are today. When the grid was created and large-scale power plants like Hazelwood, pictured here, came online to move the move to connecting to the grid was the obvious thing to do. IT's heading the same way, with centralised servers offering a range of solutions. So we now have a choice of on-premise, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Let me explain the differences between those. The slide I've put up here, which you will see in a moment, there you go. This slide helps us to move from the analogy to IT computing. The first on the left, the on-premise column, is what we're all used to, with having our own servers on-site, locally managed, where all the problems are our problems and we have to solve them on our site to move forward. The next step is to move to infrastructure as a service, which lets us simply relocate these servers to someone else's infrastructure in the data center and have them manage the hardware. We still manage the operating system and upwards in the technology stack, but can stop worrying about the redundancy and recovery options because they're now covered by the data center. The third column there, platform as a service, lets us leave the operating system behind as well. We just install the applications and manage our data. The lower levels are provided by the data center, who are now also providing virtualized servers and operating systems, and reducing our need to worry about the systems, and now we're just worrying about the applications and the data storage and connectivity. The last column there is the ultimate destination of cloud computing, in my view. It's software as a service, and it's where we all need to get to, I believe. It's where we just connect to the application we need and use it without thinking about it. We no longer need to worry about servers, infrastructure, backup, operating systems. We just need to make the connection and start using the technology.
Can I jump in there, David, just to go back to that slide for a sec?
Yeah, sure.
The mix there, I mean, I think this is a really interesting slide because a lot of people sort of have an idea that cloud computing's, all nothing, or as this slide shows, it can be a mixture of things. When you're advising people how to transition to the cloud, are they going through these sort of steps where they'll retain some things and have other people manage others?
Yeah, thanks for asking a nice easy question, James. The answer is right now today we have options across these 4 columns, and with each of the options comes a price equation and a benefits equation. And some of the benefits are intangibles like quality of service and recovery times that we can't quite perceive in small business, and so it's very difficult to paint a very clear picture for every business of which is the best option and why. But we are constantly working with our client. The 4 columns they should sit in, and what we're seeing is typically it's 2 or 3 of the 4. It's certainly not just one as yet. Yeah. And so we're talking about the hybrid model, which might be a mix of on-premise infrastructure as a service and software as a service, or infrastructure as a service and software as a service. But there is as yet no one clear model that works, and it's because of the technology that businesses use and how they use it.
Well, and I guess in some ways, perhaps it's good that there's not one clear model because it does highlight the flexibility of this sort of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. With IT, there's always 10 ways to solve every problem. The problem for small business is actually containing the choices to the simplest and most cost-effective solution so that they can just get on with doing their business, which is not IT, it's delivering a product or service to their clients. And so IT just needs to be a powerful enabler to drive productivity in that. And it's about making the right choices.
Well, another intangible, I guess, that it can be difficult to put a price on is confidence. Jacob's asked a question: when it comes to cloud computing and privacy of information, how can we guarantee information stored in the cloud is protected from potential data loss or theft of private information? And I guess that's guarantee the small business themselves and perhaps even the small business customers. Is there still a confidence factor here with cloud computing that you see in some small businesses?
James, that's actually the first question we get asked by slightly technical people in every cloud presentation to businesses or to groups. People are very concerned about the security of the cloud, and rightly so, because it's no longer sitting inside your business where you control it. The reality that I'm seeing is that small businesses don't do a good enough job of securing the information they have inside their business. They have, if they have a firewall, it's not managed typically. It's patched once or twice a year at most, and it's quite susceptible to the latest hacks. The servers may be patched but aren't routinely monitored and managed for intrusion. And so the data sitting on a server inside a small business is actually at greater risk than the data sitting on an enterprise-grade solution in the cloud. However, there are huge risks at the moment from non-enterprise-grade solutions sitting in the cloud where the security work isn't being done. Put their solution online but hasn't really focused on the security side of the solution. And a great example of that is Distributed IT, who are no longer in business because they didn't get their redundancy systems right and their backup and business continuity. And we don't want to hang our businesses off businesses like that, which is why we need to make sure that we do the due diligence on the businesses we do connect to in the cloud and make sure that they've got our backs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marion's got a question around that. Does geography matter here? I mean, she's sort of expressed a concern about if your data is in another jurisdiction such as America, where the rules are different potentially here to Australia. How does that affect what a local business here is doing? Do we need to concentrate on Australian businesses?
Actually, no. Look, sovereignty is an issue. Where your data sits and who controls it is an issue. We also need to read our terms and conditions and make sure that the data that we store online isn't susceptible to data mining by the company we're storing it with. But for a small business, business continuity is far more important than sovereignty. But we do need to have an eye on how we get the data out of the system. So if there is a breakdown in international relations, we can look at pulling our data back and building a local system to house it on. Certainly with the Microsoft solutions that I'll be talking about in a moment, the data is stored in Singapore and replicated around the world. That is a good enough solution for most small businesses. For government agencies, no, it's not good enough. For Australian-based banks, it's debatable whether it's good enough. But for a small business where we need business continuity and uptime and security from other intruders, but not international security, I think it's a perfectly reasonable solution and more secure than our on-site choices.
Gus has raised a good one. I don't know if you've heard of this. David, he uses a database located in Los Angeles. Says one major problem is synchronization of calendars due to time differences. I guess those are the little things you need to make sure are right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you that cloud computing doesn't have bugs. All software has bugs. It's a matter of working with the solution provider to make it truly international. Of course, I don't want to slang our American. I do think international is as far as Mexico and Canada. They forget that there are people at significantly different time zones on the other side of the world. Having said that, the big players like Salesforce.com and Microsoft figured out the solutions to problems like that years ago, and it does work in our time zone. So it may be that he's chosen one of these, what I call backyard operators, who are running their own server and haven't really thought on a global scale yet. And so check the security of your systems there would be my advice.
All right, David, we'll go back to you. Look at the infrastructure issue again.
Yeah. So as a small business, we're always trying to set up the systems we need to work professionally and to communicate with our prospects, clients and suppliers the way they want us to. If we did manage to set up the applications, having the right systems and all of the redundancy, backup and recovery, as I was talking about before, is pretty much beyond most of the small businesses out there, both in terms of understanding the technology and the need, but also in terms of the cost of doing it properly. Today, we can leverage enterprise-level systems by simply buying a slice of the technology at a level that we require without needing to worry about the IT systems. This frees us up to focus on the business drivers behind IT rather than the systems, and just grab the tools we need as we need them. IT solutions now become a business decision rather than a technology decision, because it's about, can we afford to connect to this tool rather than, are we able to build this technology? And so the next question on my mind is, so what are the technologies we can tap into today? As discussed under Platform as a Service, we can get service by the slice. We can also look at hosted solutions for online backup of our current on-prem service, which moves us away from tapes, gives us faster recovery, and is more in line with the demands we place on our IT systems today and the dependency we have on them. But looking to the future, we have Office 365 providing applications as a service. This has been released about a month ago, or is it 2 already? Time flies. And it's available now. The thing we're seeing standing between your business and this future is a good plan for the migration process. Getting the migration process wrong leaves people stranded without access to their historical data. Microsoft Office 365 offers service plans that are designed to help meet your business needs for robust security, reliability, and end-user productivity. It offers a version of Microsoft Office that's delivered as a flexible service and supported by Cloud Connect Office 365 services. It offers the latest versions of familiar Office applications, and the Office web apps free your people up to create, communicate and work together efficiently from virtually any device. Exchange Online offers email, calendar and contacts designed to provide your business with the control you want and the security and reliability you need. With Exchange Online, you run your email on Microsoft's globally redundant servers, as mentioned, in Singapore and 3 other locations around the world, and that's protected by built-in antivirus and anti-spam, so you can relax on other subscription services you might be using now. SharePoint Online gives you a central place to share your documents and information with colleagues and customers. It's designed to work with familiar Office applications. It's easy to save documents directly to SharePoint and work together on proposals and projects in real time, because you have access to the documents and information you need from virtually anywhere. Link Online, I actually see, is the most exciting component of this and will try to change your business. It's the next generation of cloud communication services that connects people in new ways from anywhere by using presence, instant messaging, audio-video calling, rich online meetings with audio, video and web conferencing. Link Online transforms interactions with colleagues, customers and partners from today's hit or miss communications to a more collaborative, engaging and productive experience. Office web apps are a convenient online companion to Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint, as well as Microsoft OneNote, that offer you an easy way to access, view and edit documents directly from your web browser with multiple people editing at the same time, driving collaboration that we hadn't known before. This technology may let you remove slabs of your existing infrastructure, but for the time being we see a hybrid environment, as I was discussing before, of on-premise or infrastructure as a service for line of business applications and databases, with the standard applications evaporated to the cloud, as I like to say.
Can I jump in again? Sorry, just on the Office 365. We've had a question from Cameron, who it sounds like is a user. Just wanted you to talk to the recent Office 365 outages. I believe there were some not too long ago, and the issue of offline access to files and email.
Yeah, sure. Yes, there over from the early version of BPOS to the new Office 365. In each case, the outages have been limited to an hour or two, and problems have been fixed without the clients needing to do anything about it or call the IT department. Whilst the outages are frustrating and very public, they're not exceeding the 99.9% uptime guarantee from Microsoft, and from a small business perspective they're annoying but not crippling, and I just don't really buy into the hype that that's not good enough. I actually think that for a small business that's a lot better than having their own mail server go down for an hour or two. Sorry, what was the other part of the question, James?
Just around offline access to files and email. Just Cameron's an IT manager, so I think he's looking to see.
Yes, okay. And with this package you have a choice of a kiosk-style webmail interface where, yes, when it's offline, you're offline, but you also have the option to have the applications locally installed on a PC and synchronize both your mail file and your documents. So when the servers are down, you can still work through your email folders, store your emails into other folders, reply to emails and leave them in the outbox, and you can still access your documents. You can't do the collaboration, you can't do the synchronization, and you can't pull down documents that you haven't pulled down yet. But for an hour or two, that's not mission critical to a business. And the really cool thing is there's no expense to the business in getting it back online when it is down. Whereas at the moment, as soon as something goes down, you're calling the IT people and spending money to get it fixed.
And just a question, David, around other cloud solution providers, is there people sort of trying to take this holistic approach that Microsoft's taking, in competition, I guess, to them?
Of course, in the IT world, there's always competition. Google Apps came to market first with their range of products that compete directly with Microsoft. There are application providers providing a range of business systems, accounting systems, and of course CRM. Salesforce.com led the world in getting a multi-tenanted application that lots of people could connect to and see their own data and so on without having to worry at all about the platform.
Terrific. All right, well, there's a few options to check out there. I'll hand it back to you, David.
Thank you. The three things to focus on. I don't want to dwell on it, but it's important to remember that you still need to have the right plan, aligning IT to the business plan, access to the right people at the right time, and a team who's accountable for delivering what you need. It's also very important to fully cost your options and make sure you're getting the right solution to manage the total cost of the tools. A direct comparison of costs must include hardware, software and services of establishment and maintenance. It must also include costing the other components of security, redundancy, backup and recovery. These are the tools that let SMEs truly move from a small-scale IT system to enterprise-grade systems for a small extra outlay. So I'm not saying here that you're going to save money by moving to the cloud directly. You will remove the infrastructure cost and some of the management cost, but you may pay a little more for your licensing because of all of the extra redundancy and recovery options that are just automatically included that today you don't have. So today's title was 10 points to ensuring IT is not impeding your growth. So let me step into 10 ways IT can grow your business. First, get a plan. Align your IT plan to your business growth plan. Set a budget. Link your budget to planned growth and set clear milestones. Get breadth and depth in your people. Plan the resources required. Use what you've got. Train your staff to use your systems properly. Keep it going. Implement disciplined maintenance systems and process. Be accountable. Make sure your IT, inside or outsourced, is accountable to deliver clear service levels. Learn fast. Discover what cloud computing can offer. Keep learning. Choose well. Decide which cloud applications to embrace. Keep innovating to build productivity and leverage widely. Build relationships with industry experts and find out what's new. In conclusion, look at your business plan and really understand what your business will do and what IT systems will allow it to expand. If what you have in place is working and will continue to work for you, don't change anything, because change is expensive and has to drive improvement in the bottom line. If you must change, look at the cloud alternatives to each of the available traditional technologies and move everything you can to the cloud. Plan to manage your IT environment. Poor management of any system will lead to its decay. You must align your business and IT plans, gain access to the right resources, build or connect to the right infrastructure, and ability for those systems. Naturally, at Combo, we specialise in assisting with your IT planning with sound strategic advice. We provide a talented pool of people across the levels from strategic to tactical. We offer a range of solid infrastructure to hosted applications, and we take accountability for the IT systems without headaches to let you get on with growing your business. Thanks for listening. I'll stay online to answer any questions. So back to you, James.
Brilliant, David. Thanks for that. We've got some good questions coming through, so we'll get on to a few of those. Nadine's got a question about the cost issue, and she's a business under 10 staff, and says that the cost quoted for her was she felt a bit high, and her question is, will costs sort of come down as usage goes up of cloud technologies?
Yes, and I think the answer to that is absolutely. It's now an introductory phase for utility-style computing, where businesses are outlaying millions and even billions of dollars to build the data centres and the capacity for the ramping up. And we expect it to ramp up very quickly. As we've seen with things like Facebook and LinkedIn, the exponential growth needs to be funded, and right now the businesses are spending a lot more than they're making. Once these things become common usage, the cost per user will come down significantly, and that benefit will be passed on the basis that if it doesn't, competition will drive the higher priced supplier out of the market.
Debbie's got a question around comparing all the different cloud offerings, such as Microsoft 360, Google Apps, Zoho, and others. I know which side of the fence you're going to sit there, David, but is there some good techniques that people can use to try these out? I mean, a lot of them offer free trials, demonstrations. Probably worth sitting down and spending a bit of time with those sort of things.
Yeah, absolutely. The free trials are there for a good reason. And that is, IT is complex, and the way people use it and the things people expect of the technology differ widely. And so to move your business to a technology without testing it is very brave, to say the least. You really need to use something in anger, as we say, before you know that it's going to support your business. We're all using technologies that have 15, 16 years of network computing and wide area networks and connections to the internet. And they're tried and tested technologies that have had minor improvements over the years, and we've gone with those minor improvements for the benefits they offer. But we've always had the base system that we pretty much understood from last year or the year before. A radical move to cloud computing could leave features that are key to your business behind, and so it's very important to assess the features you use, actually use it for a few days exclusively to make sure that you don't suddenly find that that key feature you needed every Thursday for that thing that you did isn't missing and so a showstopper.
Yeah, absolutely. And these companies love you trying their stuff out too, because as you say, that's exactly what it's there for. David, Carl's got a question. He's in the cloud, so he's made the jump. He says, we have a symmetrical connection in new PCs, but one issue he's got is the speed. He says the lag is very noticeable. And he's commented this might be a thing that holds a lot of businesses back. Is that something that you've noticed as well, that it can be an issue?
James, it actually depends on the technology that you're using and connecting to. Lag can be introduced in a lot of places, but there are also a lot of applications where lag isn't an issue at all. Right now we're talking across the internet from my office using an asynchronous connection to a web hosting service that's running out of America and back. Yes, there's some lag in the system, but it's not critical to the performance of the tool that we're using. There are other things that are more time sensitive where there will be a lag. But I'd still say if a business is really noticing lag in applications, there's potentially an issue either with the hoster of the application or the true speed that's being taken from the link that's in place. And more research needs to be done.
Fair enough, fair enough. David, a question around the confidence and security issue. I guess this is a question for me. My little feeling about this is it sort of reminds me of what happened with online retailing, and that it took a little while for businesses and particularly SMEs to get comfortable with that idea. Is that what you're seeing here, and is there a catalyst for people to become more comfortable? I guess perhaps it's the software, the accounting software that a lot of people are starting to use across the cloud might be the introduction point.
I think the accounting software has been a bit of an introduction point because it was easy and it worked very well. I don't know that it's going to stay the introduction point. I actually think that small businesses are going to leap onto the Exchange Online service offered by Office 365 because it instantly gives them all of the Exchange features and straight through smooth appointment setting with other Outlook users. It even gives presence so that people can see who's in and out. It takes a business of one person and gives them the same enterprise-grade tools as a person at BHP Bulletin has at their fingertips because it's the same fundamental exchange service for as little as $6 a month. So the price point and the level of capability it gives is going to drive the move. In terms of the security, yeah, people are going to be slow to adopt relative to, say, the uptake of telephones spreading across the country. But in 3 years' time, cloud computing is going to be the norm, just as online shopping is becoming the norm today. 3 or 4 years ago, it was the adventurous that shopped online. Today, I'd be surprised if 95% of the people listening to this webinar haven't shopped online.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, David, look, that's great. It's a fascinating area, and I think the point you made in your top 10 there, number 7, learn fast, discover what cloud computing can offer. I think that's probably what you need to keep doing is keep researching, keep trialing, keep trying, and figure out the right solution. Just as we...
certainly, I was going to say, it's certainly the challenge that faces our business. Even with all the people we have working with it every day, this stuff is emerging so fast and driving so much power into business that we struggle to keep up with it. And we are determined to keep up with it, but it's a massive field offering massive benefits to small businesses, and so it's something we're determined to stay on top of.
Yeah, it's great. One of those great things that level the playing field, and any time we can get big business tools in the hands of small businesses, that's what we like to see at Smart Company, I guess. So that's always welcome. Look, can we thank today's sponsor again, the Small Business September Festival for 2011. It's been a terrific event, and a couple of days left to check out smallbusinessmonth.nsw.gov.au and get involved and as I come to the final thanks, David, I'd like to thank you for a terrific presentation. I guess, would you like to leave the audience with a final bit of advice about keeping on top of your IT needs?
Thanks, James. Yeah, look, I've enjoyed presenting today. I guess the final point, when you're thinking about cloud computing and the growth of your business, think scalability. Once your technology's in the cloud, you can just turn on another user the day you need it. There are no extra licenses to purchase, download, install, configure. You don't need to get a technician to come out to site to set up the connections. You just add an extra user, pay a little extra on your monthly fee, and your business grows. And so it gives you a complete scalability. And if you make a mistake and your business shrinks, you can turn some off and drop the costs straight away too. So without a capital expenditure, it gives you scalability. And for small businesses that are growing, that is absolutely a key to powerful success.
Absolutely. Thank you, David, and thanks also to our audience. Some great questions, some great provocations and ideas and challenges. So we really appreciate you making the webinar a success. Thanks to everybody, and we look forward to seeing you again on Smart Company webinars soon.